Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Pirates Rebuild. Today we're going to focus on spring training, getting down to our 26-man roster, as well as playing opening day. To start the episode, we're going to focus on a few of our position battles, and the team, well, it's gotten a lot better. These decisions are going to be a lot harder to make. This is going to be the first year I really have to think through this, where we have some players that we've invited to spring because we think it's might be time for them to be ready for the major leagues, but spring training is a good place to find out if they are. Franz Talbot, Termarr Johnson, Coby Mayo, Dylan Cruz. Will they make the team? Wyatt Langford, is there a spot for him in the roster, the starting lineup specifically? Today, we find out. We'll start with Termarr Johnson. He showed some good flashes in spring training. What we needed to find out is if he was ready to face major league pitching every day. I'm not 100% confident yet in that decision with Johnson. He's someone that we don't want to stunt his growth. He's the #1 second base prospect in baseball. He has been since we took over the team. But we don't want to do anything that slows down that development. And he's been improving every year in AAA since we took over. It's only been 2 seasons, but I was thinking the third year was going to be the year for Johnson to break through. In spring, he had 69 at-bats, scored 5 runs, 1 home run, 6 RBIs, with a .232 batting average. Was that enough to make the team? We'll find out in a few minutes. And taking a quick look at another middle infielder in Mitch Jebb, we didn't get him enough at-bats really in spring training, but when he did play, he struggled. He had 12 at-bats, scored 1 run. His average was 167 in the spring. Again, it probably wasn't enough for us, a good sample size for deciding if he was going to make the big league team, but we had to go with the data that we had, and most likely, Jebb's going to be one of the guys that gets sent down to AAA. Next, we move to our first base / DH and third base, I guess, competition here. Coby Mayo, we did move him to his primary position being first base. And that in turn dropped his overall to 71, which was kind of funny to find out the game worked that way, but it is what it is. We have to keep in mind that Coby Mayo is a little bit better than a 71. And being that we've already used one of Coby Mayo's options last season when we brought him down after his slow start, is this going to be the first year he stays in the big leagues all year? I really hope so. He had a pretty solid spring training. It started out a little slow, but towards the end, he really picked it up. He finished with 78 at-bats, 11 runs, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, 3 stolen bases, and his average was .256, which is 30 points higher than it was when we sent him down to AAA last season. It is, again, it's just a 30-game or, a small 1-month sample size in spring training. You're facing a lot of major league pitching, also some minor league pitching of other players that are trying to make their squad on their side. So, mixed results for Mayo here. Is he ready to hit big league pitching still? I think we're going to find out this year. I think we will see him in the big league roster for at least the start of the year. And moving on to Franz Talbot. Probably my favorite player in the system right now, but also the biggest disappointment of spring training was Franz Talbot. He's got a lot of potential, a huge upside. He's just not ready. No way that he's ready. Probably should not have invited him to spring training this year and used one of his options, but we ended up doing that because he did have a solid year in AAA last year. In spring training, he had 62 at-bats, 6 runs scored, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, but the batting average was 161. And that's not going to be good enough to make this team right now. The team is improved. The team is a lot better. You got to bat a lot better than 161 in spring to make the squad right now, unless you're one of those players that's been locked in a previous all-star and we just trust you. But as a young guy like Talbot, it wasn't enough this year. And moving on to the outfield, we'll start with Dylan Cruz, the newest member of the team, or one of the newest members of the team, and this spring, he's got to prove himself. We don't have any loyalty to Dylan Cruz right now in the Pittsburgh organization, so he was not a lock for the roster. He did start spring training, slotted in as our starting center fielder, but things didn't really go as planned. He had 81 at-bats. He scored 8 runs, no home runs. 9 RBIs was pretty good. 1 stolen base. The batting average was at 198. And some other players that we just know a little bit better probably are going to be leaned towards a little bit more before Dylan Cruz is. And that's just the way it's going to be. That's the way we're running the team. I think we will see him in the big leagues sometime this season. It's just not going to be at the beginning. A rough spring training for him. Maybe he's just adjusting to the new team, but he hasn't had a full year in the major leagues yet, and unfortunately, I think we're finding out why. You know, adding Lonnie White to the 40-man roster was probably the biggest mistake of the offseason, and I don't know if we'll regret it or if it'll really hurt us in the long run, but he is on the 40-man roster. We gave him a shot. He's a solid player. I think he'll eventually be a backup bench player for us in the big leagues, but right now just he's not ready yet. The person that benefited the most from Dylan Cruz's struggles in spring training was Gilberto Celestino. He did only get 19 at-bats, 1 run, 1 RBI, but he was hitting .263 with his skill set in the outfield and his arm. That's going to be enough for him to stay on the big league squad, and really the only thing that was going to cause him to get demoted was if Dylan Cruz made the team. So I guess we have the answer for that now. Not all was bad in spring. You know, most of these stats that we've been showing with these position battles have been a little bit low, but Wyatt Langford was the exception to the rule this spring. Only got 32 at-bats. Wasn't a huge sample size. I had a feeling we knew what we were going to do with him, but he did score 3 runs, 1 home run, 9 RBIs, and his batting average was .406 in spring. Above 400 in spring, only 32 at-bats, so it's not a huge sample, like I said, but I was really excited to see Langford really come out this spring, and I'm hoping this is more to come in the regular season, and this is his breakout year, being the 3rd year with the Pirates, 2nd full season. And it's time to get the roster down to 25 players. We're going to do it the way we normally do. We're going to start with the starting pitchers and see what we think here. Paul Skeens, oh yeah, this is what we wanted to see. Skeens did only 14 innings pitched. We should have got him in there a little bit more to stretch him out, but turning it around a little bit. Salameto, how are you with options? All right, you're going to AAA. I think we're going to start with 6 starters, and I think Skeens might start the year in the bullpen. We'll see how that goes. We'll go through this and make sure we did get it down to enough, but Caleb's definitely going to be here. Castro, Holderman, Loasiga, Beck may not be. We'll come back to that, but Helsley, absolutely. How did he do this spring? Does it tell us? It doesn't really show us all the stats, does it? Can we go in this way and see? Pitching. Let's see if we can find him. He lost 2 games in 12 outings, 1 blown save, 10 saves. 10 saves, 1 blown. Not too bad. Catchers, yep, that's where we're going to land. And in the whole organization, that's how it's going to look. Henry Davis ended up batting .324 in the spring training. Endy, not so hot. Kirilloff had a really slow start, but he ended up bouncing back. Mayo as well. Mayo, I was really worried. He was below 200 a lot of spring, but he ended up getting his average up to 256. We gave him a lot of at-bats, and that's what led to that, but a little tough here. We're going to move these players around as well. Start getting all of these teams sorted out. Here's where the decisions start. Nick Gonzalez, 273, 33 at-bats, 69 at-bats for Termarr Johnson. I just don't think he's ready. Babe didn't play hot, but we know what we can get from him. Johnson showed a lot of promise and a lot of potential. I think it's just too soon. Cameron Colley's going to get moved up to AAA, though. Joe Stewart's going to start the year in AA. At third base, Franz isn't ready yet either. 62 at-bats, 161 batting average. Did have 3 home runs, showing a lot of promise. 1 more year for Franz, or at least to start the year in AAA. We'll see what we got to do with the rest of these guys when we get there. We're down to 29. We got 3 more guys to figure out who to send down. Do we want Joel to start in AA? I think we do. So we'll leave that for now. Jeb potentially is going to stay up. Left field, Reynolds, not a very good spring. We're not too worried about that. Olivares, not very good either. Langford absolutely made the team. Here's the guy we needed to make a decision on. I'm not sure I want to do it yet. Try to pass him through waivers. I don't think I want to give up on this guy yet. Only 190. Oh, okay, let's go through here a little bit. Lonnie White, yeah, we had a feeling this was going to be a AAA season for him. Go ahead and send him down to AAA. Celestino at 263, and Dylan Cruz did not perform well. Dylan Cruz is going to start the season at AAA. Made a big trade to get him, trading Jack Zawinski, Josh Fleming, and Moretta to get Dylan Cruz, and so far, that is not paying off. But it will long term. I do believe so. So Celestino is going to start on the big league roster. We need one more move to make. Jordan Beck will start the year in AAA. McCutchen, we're going to move down to AA. We got to find one more player. Just wanting to make sure we have an option at backup shortstop because I think Jeb is going to be the move. So Nick Gonzalez, if it makes the big league roster, can play second, third, or shortstop. Bay can play shortstop. Yeah, I think Mitch Jeb is the move here. Only 12 at bats. Not a good sample size, but Mitch Jeb will start the season in AAA. Kobe Mayo makes the team. I'm struggling a little bit with who's going to be the leadoff batter, and depending on who we put in these other positions will determine that. Yeah, and Bay will start off leading off. He'll be playing second base. I think Celestino's going to have to be in center field to start off this season. With Bay switching to second base every day, I think that's going to be our option as Cruz needs to prove himself. I think what we'll start the season with is Bay, Cruz, Jones, Reynolds, Hayes, Davis, Kirilloff, Langford, Celestino. Left-handed lineup. Let's get that sorted out. And then we'll go with Bay, Jones, Reynolds, Langford, Hayes, Davis, Cruz, Mayo, Celestino. Kirilloff will be platooning with Mayo at first base, and Mayo potentially might get in the everyday lineup. We'll see how that goes. We got to get him a lot of at-bats. And the pitching rotation to start the year is going to be the same as last season ended, with Jones moving to the 3 here. Avedo is very close to taking over for Keller. Paul Skeens, I have a feeling, is going to get moved into the starting rotation early in the season. Harrington may end up being in the long reliever role or down to AAA to get a little more development. But I'm excited to get this next season going. GM goals, finish over 500. I think we can do that. We did that last year. This is the 3rd year of the contract. We got to reach the postseason. We do not have GM contracts on, so we will not get fired. I was tempted to play that way. The team's getting a lot better. We did move Triolo. We moved Walker. We moved Zawinski. A couple people we weren't really 100% buying into long term for some future prospects that I think are going to be pretty good for us. If we look at the top of our prospects, we got Franz Talbot, Johnson, Gehringer, Hood, Mayo, Tejada. It just goes on and on and on. Cruz doesn't show up there, but Cruz we're going to be taking a close look at in AAA at the beginning of the year. This trade might have been a mistake. He hasn't gotten a full season of playing yet. We may be learning why. Something just missing in his development. Time will tell. I'm excited to get the season going. It's opening day. Our favorite time of the year. Well, until we start making the playoffs, and that'll be our favorite time of the year. Look at the flyover. Year 3, let's begin. Year 2 saw us finally break over 500 in the record column, but we didn't make the playoffs. We missed out by 1 game. We kick off this year against the A's. Mitch Keller, still our ace as of right now. We'll see how this season unfolds. And some projections showing Brian Reynolds leading with average OPS, home runs, RBIs, then Nolan Jones with stolen bases, and Hayes with WAR. Projected record 86 and 76, second in the NL Central. I really hope that's not the case. I feel like this might be our year. The optimism is showing through. Let's get this game started. Bieber on the mound for opening day against us. Let's look at his stats from last year. 33 starts, 9-13 record, 3.81 ERA, 1.26 whip, strikeout rate of 19% with 163 strikeouts. 2020 Cy Young Award winner. Bay to start the season off. Will he be our long-term leadoff man this year? I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of roster moves throughout the season. Fouled off the first pitch. Bay was one of the main guys that helped us drive to that hot streak in the middle of the season last year. Be interesting to see how important he is to the lineup. O'Neal Cruz on deck. It's 2026 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And we start with a fly ball to right field, 1 away. And there's a good look at the lineup. Nolan Jones, will he be the difference maker? Or will he be just enough to replace Walker? That's what's going to be interesting. Cruz, first pitch, swinging, good contact, base hits. Runner at first, 1 away. Nolan Jones' is first official at bat with the Pirates. That's in there for a strike. 294 last year, 15 home runs, 75 RBIs. We get that out of him, we'll be ecstatic. And there goes Cruz. Ball one, and stolen base number 1 for O'Neal Cruz to start the season. The count is 1-1 to Nolan Jones. Ground ball to second base. That will advance Cruz to third, but 2 away. And Brian Reynolds up to bat now. Be nice to get a full year out of Reynolds this year. Get him to stay healthy. And he starts it off with an RBI single. 1-0 Pittsburgh. That brings up Ke'Bryan Hayes. Runner at first, 2 away. Ball 1. 1-0 count to Hayes. Another hit up the middle. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Potent lineup so far. Here's Henry Davis. Going to be a story we follow pretty close this year. Was last year an anomaly, or is that going to be the norm moving forward? The average did drop down to, I believe, the 270 range at the end of the year. We will still take that from our catcher, who is somewhat turning into a power bat for us. 2-0 count. Bieber's being a little careful here. Would have been ball 3 or a borderline call there, but 2-1. Late on the fastball. Another base knock. We will hold the runner at third. Base is loaded. 2 away. That brings up Alex Kirilloff, and being able to put Kirilloff in the 7 hole, it's got me pretty confident in this lineup starting the season. Is that going to get through? It does not. That will finally retire the side. Stranding 3 runners on base. 1 run comes across for the Pirates. 1-0 on 4 hits. Max Keller finished 13-10 last year. 3.9 ERA in 201 innings pitched. Like to see at least those type of numbers from him. Keneally up to bat here. It's going to be interesting because we're getting into the time of the playthrough where some of these players aren't going to be necessarily recognized. And he was a 5th-round pick in the 2025 draft, and he is starting already. Opening day. Leading off for the A's, and his first at-bat of his career is a single to left field. There it is, first major league hit. Brings up Brent Harris. Ground ball to Bay. Should be able to throw that to second, get 1. Cruz over to first, not in time. Fielder's choice. Harris reaches first. Harris reaches first on a fielder's choice. That brings up Ryan Noda. And the cutter just hits the corner as well. We'll try the sinker to retire him. Ground ball to Cruz. We'll take the... Oh, Cruz! Hayes tries to recover there, but that's going to be an error on Cruz on opening day. E6! Oh, no, that's right. Okay. Ooh, I don't know why they showed Hayes there. That confused me. Hayes' plays would be E5. E6 is shortstop. Danny Jansen up to bat. 2 runners on. 1 out. Should have been out of this inning already. Come on, Cruz. Runners were moving there. Okay. Strikes him out with the slurve. Andre Green, that was someone we were looking at in the first draft class, I believe. Looks like he was 279 last year with 6 home runs and 23 RBIs. Not a bad rookie campaign for him. Believe he is their everyday second baseman at this point. 2-1 count. Inside, Keller at risk of loading the bases for Clark Elliott. That one catches the bottom of the zone. Full count. 2 outs, 2 runners on. Hard ground ball to Kirilloff. That will retire the side. 1-0 Pittsburgh. So we do escape the bottom of the first with that error by Cruz, not causing us any harm. Here is Wyatt Langford, who had an amazing spring training. Like to see him keep that going here in the regular season. He definitely got the DH nod above Kobe Mayo because of his spring. Gonna award the hot bats. It's the only way to win. Gotta score more runs than the other team, but he flies out to right field, 1 away. And Gilberto Celestino, he is up to bat here with 1 out in the top of the second. Another player that selfishly I hope is not starting by the end of the year, and I hope Dylan Cruz does get back up to the major leagues and contributes. 0-1 count.
That's a ball.
That's just outside. 1-1. You know, we did end up moving Triolo, and I'm wondering if that is going to be one of the things that hurts us, but getting Nolan Jones in that trade, I definitely feel like that was a benefit to the team, as Celestino is going to start off his season with a double. 1 out in the second. It's 5 hits so far for the Pirates. But yeah, will we miss Triolo? I'm interested in the feedback. I'm a little ahead on recording, so I haven't seen the comments from the signings in the offseason yet, so I'm super interested to hear those. That brings up Bay with 1 out in a runner in scoring position. RBI opportunity for Bay. Oh, great play there by first baseman. Does advance the runner to third, but that saved a run. All right, Cruz, make up for that error. Didn't cost us, but we don't like to see that. Not on opening day. Just foul down the first baseline.
2-1.
O'Neal Cruz, 1 for 1 today, 2-1 counts. And that should be an RBI single for Cruz. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Should we steal again? Nah, there's 2 outs. There's 2 outs. We got a lead. And they thought we were stealing. Yep. See if we can get Jones going here. Gonna be key to this team this year. 2-0 count to Nolan Jones. Oh, that catches the corner. 2-1. It's got to be a slur for just fastballs. Nolan Jones grounds out to first base. That'll retire the side, but not before the Pirates score another run. 2-0 Pittsburgh. Clark Elliott to bat here. Try to get a quick inning from Mitch Keller here. 22 draft pick class is Clark Elliott. And a 1-2 pitch to Elliott here from Keller. Strikes him out. 1 away. His second strikeout of the game. Jacob Wilson was a star on my franchise last year. Love the kid. But we retire him. 1 out. 2 outs. Pineda up here in the 8 hole for the A's. 2 outs. Keller with a nice play. That'll retire the side. Quick inning. That's what we needed. Walks the leadoff batter. Reynolds will take his base. Runner at first. Nobody out in the top of the 3rd inning. Brings up Ke'Bryan Hayes, who's 1 for 1 today. Bieber seems to be having trouble locating his pitches right now. Got a 1-0 count here. That one's low as well. Getting ahead of these counts is going to be key to keep getting hits here. That one's going to get to the right fielder. He's back. Got it. 1 away. And that's Elliott in right field. Okay. Here's Henry Davis. 1 for 1 as well. Swings at the first pitch. A little early on that fastball. To left field. 2 outs. And Kirilloff. 0 for 1 on the outing. It's a good pitch down the middle, but Elliott drops it. Runners at first and third. You don't see that often. Right in his glove. E9. Langford. Let's get this guy going. Runners on the corners. 2 outs. That's going to get by Wilson there for an RBI single for Langford. 3-0 Pittsburgh. Runners at first and second. 2 away in the top of the 3rd. That brings up Celestino. Ground ball to Green. Throws it over to shortstop at second base. That'll retire the side. Cruz going to hustle over. calls off Reynolds. 1 away. Now, Keneally's the only one that's gotten a hit off of Keller so far. His second at bat here. Making his major league debut. 0-1 count. Fly ball to Reynolds. He's going to get under it. 2 away. Shortstop Brett Harris up to bat. 0 for 1 today. Strike 1 on the outside corner. Ground ball to Cruz. He fields it. No error this time. And we are through 3. 3-0. Keller with just 1 hit given up through 3 innings. We move to the 4th inning here with the top of the lineup up. Bay to bat 0 for 2 today. If he struggles early, might have to find some moves. We'll pull up our fancy spreadsheet. Remind ourselves our options at second. We got Nick Gonzalez up here who could come in and play. Made the opening day roster above Johnson. That almost hit Bay, 1-2. I just felt that Tremar Johnson's ceiling was much higher than Gonzalez, so giving Johnson his base strikes out, the extra time in AAA to make sure he's batting every day is why we moved him down. The same with Franz Talbot. Dylan Cruz as well. O'Neal Cruz, fly ball to Elliott. 2 away. So Nolan Jones had a really slow start to spring, but then picked it up towards the end. And I hope that's not going to be the case in the regular season. I know as things unfold, we will get numbers out of him. I don't have worries about that. He's got a great arm in right field as well. And that was honestly the main reason why I wanted to trade for him. And the bat is beyond a bonus in that situation, but I was looking over our defense and we got to improve in some areas, and I think we've done that this year. There's a base hit for Jones. Oh, no, almost a nice play. That should be ruled a single. I thought that was through. But either way, he's on first with 2 outs, and it is ruled a base hit. Jones is first as a Pirate. That brings up Ryan Reynolds. 61 pitches already for Bieber. That bullpen's warming up for Oakland already. Or I guess in real life, this would be Vegas at this point. I wonder if during next offseason, if I could move them. I don't know. 0-2 count to Reynolds. Early again on the slider. That's going to get by Green. And Nolan Jones does move forward to third base. Runners on the corners and 2 outs. Get Brian Hayes, 1 for 2 today. Strike 1 on the inside corner. 0-1. And he strikes him out. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Pittsburgh. We got a fly ball to Celestino. 1 away in the top of the 4th. Bottom of the 4th. That brings up the catcher, Danny Jansen. Oh, he gets a hold of 1. That's not coming back. Whoa. 3-1. Holy Toledo's right. 403 feet, 105, basically 106 exit velocity. Makes it a 3-1 ball game. Big mistake there by Keller, leaving that over the plate a little too much, but that brings up Andre Green. Bay does field that with the hop over to first. 2 away. This is Clark Elliott. Fouled off. Okay, I thought that was at shortstop. I'm trying to do better at this stuff here. Let's see. Switch teams. Here we go at shortstop. It is Harris playing shortstop today. Okay, and there's Jacob Wilson, who is a 70 overall. Can also play left field, right field, and shortstop. Hasn't progressed that much yet. 162 last season. Looks like was his first year. Clark Elliott here has been up for a couple years, 70 overall. This team's getting a little bit better. Interesting to see how the A's progress over this franchise. Got the outside corner there, 0-2 against Elliott. Fly ball to Reynolds. He should be able to get there in time. We're through 4, 3-1 Pittsburgh. 1-1 count to Davis. You got to think Bieber's day's just about done. A couple more hits from us here in the 5th, and I'm sure they'll go to the bullpen. He's up to 70 pitches now. Only in the 5th inning. Davis does get a hold of one, but that should be caught in center field, one away. Wyatt Langford with a single and RBI on the game already. I do have a feeling this is his 3rd year with the club, 2nd full year. I think this is the breakout year for him. And that'll be an important part of a playoff run for the team this year. It's either got to be him or Mayo. We need that extra bat. It'd be really ideal if Dylan Cruz comes around towards later in the year and can replace Celestino and give us a little more offense out there in center field. And really the same with Johnson. If he gets a hot start in AAA, it's going to be really hard to not bring him back up. We've used their options already, all of those 3 guys we're talking about, so they can come up and down as much as we need them to this year. 1-2 on Langford, 2 outs, top of the 5th. Evens it up at 2-2. 2-2 pitch. High, 3-2. And he walks Langford. That'll bring up Celestino. Celestino with a double and a run scored on opening day so far. And a ground ball to first base. That will retire the side. Will that get down for base first hit? I think it will. That's going to get by as well. He's got a chance at 3rd on this. It's going to be close. He's in there. Triple for Bay. That speed, you got to love it. We got a runner at 3rd. Nobody out for O'Neal Cruz with 2 hits already today. And strike 1. 0-1. A little more heat from Medina than we got from Bieber on the mound. That was a mistake. 4-1. And Cruz gets picked off of first base. Ooh, that's rough. We're getting aggressive there, and they caught us. 1-1 to Jones. Saw that one, though. That's out of here. Nolan Jones' first home run as a Pirate, 5-1 Pittsburgh. He showed us the curveball, and then he came back with it, and we timed it up on that one. Clear the deck, Nolan Jones. Brings up Ryan Reynolds. Is that going to get down too? It is. Reynolds will stretch this into a double. Runner on second. 1 out. Should just wait on that curveball, really. Lazy. Called it. Lazy. Took 3rd on that. That was a heads-up base run in by Reynolds there. 2 outs, runner at 3rd, and here is Henry Davis, 1 for 3 on the game. Just didn't get enough of that curveball. Hit it into the ground, got on top of it. That'll take us to the bottom of the 6th, 5-1, Pittsburgh. Trying to get the bullpen warmed up here. Paul Skeen's going to be the first one to warm up. And left-handed Ferguson. Ground ball to Cruz. 1 away. Keller's just, you know, he's kind of dealing out there besides the big home run given up. 0-2 count. Oh, brother. 5-2. Holy Toledo. Ryan Noda. It's early in the season. I don't want Keller to have too much trouble today. And I want to see Paul Skeens as a long reliever. 9-9 last year, 5.68 ERA, whip at 172, strikeout rate 21. I want to see a lot of those numbers increase this year from Paul Skeens. Any issues we have with Harrington would probably lead to Skeens getting back in the rotation, but that's a nice slider. Sheesh. I don't necessarily expect Harrington to struggle this year, but you never know in baseball. 1-2 count to Jansen here. Try that slider. Try to get it to end up outside. Catches the plate, though. Strikeout for Skeens. Ground ball to Kirilloff. He'll be able to play it himself. 2 away. Oh, 3 away. It wasn't a new inning when Skeens came in. We'll move to the 7th. 5-2. Kirilloff up to bat here to start the 7th inning.
Counts 1-0.
And I'm kind of interested here. We look at the box score. He is. Kirilloff is the only Pirate not to get a hit yet. 1-0 count. And there's a fly ball to center field. He will still be the only Pirate not to get a hit today. 1 away, top of the 7th. And Skeens will stay on the mound. Only threw 6 pitches last inning. Fly ball to Celestino. 1 away in the bottom of the 7th. Try an inside corner changeup. Got it over the plate a little bit there, but Skeens does field it. 2 away. 1-2. Strikes him out. Skeens looking good. And Nolan, home run his last at bat. 2 for 4 today. It's a hanging curveball. That's going to stay fair. That'll be a 3-hit game for Nolan and a double in this at bat. Brings up Reynolds with 2 outs and a runner on second. They bring in Robbie Doby. Here he is. I wanted to draft him, and I wanted to call him Robbie Dobby all the time, but we get to see him in the big leagues right away. Good for him. Misses outside. 1-0. Jams Reynolds there. That will retire the side. With a 3-run lead in the 8th inning, we will go to Miguel Castro. Hope we have... You know, I'm not expecting as good of a year from Castro, but let's hope it's close to as good of a year, and we would be happy with that. He's missed on his first 2 pitches. Leaves that slider a little high there. Good thing they were looking at that pitch. This is a deep fly ball. Is Reynolds going to get back to this in time? I don't think he's going to. That'll be a double. Leadoff double there. Ruh-roh. Castro, come on, buddy.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Ground ball to Cruz. That'll keep the runner at second. 1 away. Fred Harris 0 for 3 today. Just misses the outside corner there. 1-0. That's gonna be close. Jones comes up, throws. Of course they're gonna hold him there. What an arm. What an arm out there in right field. But we got runners on the corners. Tying run at the plate. 1 out. Castro throws it home and gets him out at home. Smart heads-up play by Miguel Castro. Look at that. No chance there. Great play, Castro. 2 outs. Tying run still at bat here, but fly ball to Celestino. He's able to get under it and send us to the 9th with a 3-run lead. To Brian Hayes, 1 for 4. Ground ball to Wilson. 1 out in the 9th. Flies out to Wilson. Little pop-up at the outfield here, or the foul grounds. Not the outfield, not even close. 2 outs. We're going to use this as an opportunity to bring Kobe Mayo in the game. Pinch hit for Kirilloff here in the 9th inning with a 3-run lead and a left-hander on the mound. And he starts off his season with a base hit on the first pitch. Attaboy Mayo. Gallen wins in his first outing with the Astros. Langford does get a hold of one. I think this is going to stay in the park, though. Send us to the bottom of the 9th with a 3-run lead against the A's on opening day. With Green, Elliott, and Wilson due to bat. And Kobe Mayo will stay in at first base. But it's time to see Ryan Helsley for the first time in Pittsburgh black and yellow. First pitch to Green. Fouls off strike one. 100 miles an hour on his first pitch. Try to get the inside corner with a slider. A little too much of the plate there. 0-2. Luckily, you fouled that off. See all three pitches here. Foul ball. Mayo was not able to react fast enough there. We'll do it again. 0-2. Just inside. 101 on that one. Green's catching up to this fastball. Too bad we don't have a changeup. Gets him with the slider. 1 out. And Clark Elliott 0 for 3 today, up to bat next here. Strike one.
0-1's the count. Ball.
Slider's a little low there, 1-1.
I got 1 ball, 1 strike.
Fouls off a curveball, 1-2 counts. Some high heat, fouled off to left field. Do it again. And Reynolds will have to run back and get to this one. 2 outs. That'll bring up Jacob Wilson. Strike one to Wilson on the outside corner. 0-1. Fouls that slider off. 0-2 counts. And he goes down looking. The Pirates win 5-2 in opening day. We get to see our starter Keller get a win. Skeens comes in, holds it down, gets 2 good innings for us. Castro does the same as the setup man, and Helsley closes the game for us. 1-0. Everyone that batted today got a hit except for Kirilloff. 15 hits for the Pirates on 5 runs on 15 hits. 2 runs on 5 hits for the A's. 1 error each. Can't start the season off much better than that. And really encouraging, very encouraging outing by the team there. Bay with a hit, Cruz, Jones, Reynolds with 3 hits. And then we got Hayes, Davis, Mayo, Langford, Celestino, and Bay with 1 hit. We got some RBIs from Cruz, Jones, Reynolds, and Langford. Not too bad. Home run from Jones in his debut with Pittsburgh. Helsley with a 2 strikeout close. Skeens comes in for 1 2/3, gives up no hits. Boy, oh boy, looking pretty positive for the Pirates, though. 4 teams did win on opening day. Way too early to be talking about anything like records. But 163 was the projected revenue this year. Our payroll is at 120 million, which is the highest we have had. Still a surplus, still making the team money. Weaknesses in second base and center field are all that our depth chart shows. I'm kind of interested in taking a look at that now. We jump ahead a year. We show Johnson at 80 overall. Definitely got to be his year next year. Kirilloff and Talbot will fight over that first base role, and I don't see Mayo interesting. The following year, Mayo's in there. Be an interesting year. We did see Mayo's overall drop to a 71 because of officially moving him to first base did drop his overall, which kind of unfortunate, but it doesn't really hurt the statistics, right? None of these attributes change, just the way the overall rating is calculated. And that's something to keep in mind when you're playing this game, is it makes it a little confusing. And Mayo did not have enough service last year. He is still considered a rookie this year. And I believe as of now, he is the only one on the MLB roster that is considered a rookie this year, where we had, I think, 3 last year. So pretty exciting start of the year. I'll catch you on the next episode.